We're now joined by former West Virginia fullback Owen Schmitt. He joins us on 365 Sports. And Owen, thank you very much for your time. I compared you at the start of the show when we teased that we'd have you on the show, that you were West Virginia's version of Cam Scatteraboo. Is that a compliment?
No, I mean, hey, he's a hard-nosed ball player. I absolutely think it's a compliment.
Owen, I'm not going to ever say we're a fullback. I told this to Kalani Sitake. You are a fullback. You're part of a fraternity that sadly has fewer members now because of the way offenses have changed. What could bring about the return of the fullback in these new offenses?
Well, I think, the focus on the game has been a lot of speed, obviously. So players' numbers, as far as, linebackers, secondary, more speed guys, right? So they're a little bit lighter in the rear end. And I think that's where you're going to see, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to see, you're going to start to see these big guys kind of emerge, just sheer fact on just bringing the physicality back to the game, I think.
Yeah, there's no question. And in the end, fullbacks protect the tailback, running backs, I-backs, whatever, one-backs. And also they protect the quarterback as well. When you were younger, learning how to play the game, was that like just an automatic for you? Or did you at one point play offensive line? Were you a wide receiver? Where were you when you played either Pop Warner or youth football?
Yeah, so long story short, my grandfather, Dwayne Jensen, was a coach for 36 years in Gilman, Wisconsin. So I was around football, my entire life. And early on, they got a hold of us and we were living with them. They were raising us. And, being a coach is anything, is, you understand the hours and the dedication. So learn that from an early thing. But yeah, when I came of age to be able to play, he was like, look, the first thing you're going to be able to do is go to lineman camp, because the key fundamental of the game is to learn how to block. And that's what you need to learn first. So if you want to play, you got to learn the game the right way. And that's kind of just where the inspiration's gone. And then I feel like athleticism through the weight room really progressed me to another level at some point as well too.
Was there a time when you hated weights, or was that just something that eventually just morphed into loving weights? Because I know you also won some competitions, were honored for things that you did.
Yeah, I in high school, when I transitioned to a personal trainer off season is where I saw the biggest gains. And Kevin at Game Speed was that was kind of we had a crew of a bunch of D1 guys, and then I was kind of the misfit of the bunch, and we all trained together and absolutely, I knew that's what was going to take me to the next level, because that senior year going into high school, I was a completely different animal on the field.
Owen, Rich Rod's back. We talked to him at Big 12 Media Days, and he's a character. What kind of, just before we get into on the field stuff, his personality, the things that the fans all loved about him, what does that do for the fan base, there in West Virginia, in Morgantown, to light the fire again? Because they'd kind of grown frustrated and maybe a little bit bored based on their previous standards.
Yeah, I think, the fans are going to get what they're paying for. They're going to get a program that is everything that embodies their mantra of hard edge. They're going to be the best conditioned. They're going to be the most disciplined. They're going to be the biggest, fastest, strongest. That's their mentality, and they're going to be coached to a level that is going to take an average or above average young man and turn him into a monster on the field. So they play with a lot of aggression, a lot of physicality, but within the rules of the game. And I think that's what the fan is going to get, and that's what we're going to get to see. And I think we've seen that before, and that's what they've been missing for a long time now.
Oh, and how many face masks did you break when you played college football?
There was a few. I think it was in double digits.
Did you break others, or did yours break because you were breaking others?
You know what? Who knows? At that point in time, rules were different. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Okay, now here's one of the things that I find interesting in the targeting rule, which is when you use the crown of the helmet, you know all that. And it was to try to keep from catastrophic injuries. But offensive players, does it piss you off that I've only seen like one offensive targeting call against somebody? I think it was an Oklahoma fullback, and you guys don't get credit, or that position doesn't get enough credit for targeting?
I don't know. I mean, as far as, it's a physical position. You know what I mean? You're probably not going to see it as much. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, like, for example, there's no way that fullbacks don't make contact with a linebacker in the gap or maybe somebody on the edge or whatever without using the crown of their helmet almost every single time. You hope that no one ever gets hurt. But targeting seemed like the offensive players don't get hit with it enough, which I get it. I understand it. I've seen one player, I think, in my lifetime, since targeting became a thing, that got hit with a penalty was an Oklahoma, I think a fullback at Oklahoma, that got hit with an offensive targeting call. But isn't that something that you have to do when you're a fullback?
Oh, yeah. If you want to get any piece, you got to take a man down the middle. I mean, I know that's an old school methodology too. You know what I mean? I'm trying to split a guy in half. There are times, you know what I mean? There are times where you're trying to kick out and stuff like that and use, leverage. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, that's the way we were taught when we were kids. You know, you see the triangle, you hit the triangle, and you should always see what you hit. So, the old school method for us was, if you hit a man under his chin, if you can see his chin when you hit him, you've won the leverage battle.
Yep, absolutely.
Owen, what do you think we're going to see on the field from West Virginia this year? There's going to be some growing pains because they have, 50 new guys on the roster, and you can't just gel that together. But as far as picking up the system, which will be similar but different to what they've been running, Nico's been in game, so he's not stepping in to his first start and being intimidated. So that's all good. But what do you think we'll see from them throughout the season in a very tough and close Big 12?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Jed Drenning, on our In the Gun podcast, and we were really discussing, how do you mesh as a team that quickly? And, Rod's scheme is, physical. It is fast. It is a condition-based deal, and they take advantage of that. But is the O-line going to get it, right? Are they going to mesh on that zone scheme and be able to perform these, second and third level blocks that they need to do to be able to open these holes for Jaheim White? And then on that aspect, like, will Jaheim pick this up? Because offensively, being, running this thing, I mean, I'm not discrediting anybody who's back there, but this system, if you do it correctly, can rack up a lot of yards. And I'm really hoping we can lean heavy on the run this year to kind of give them young quarterbacks, like, some time to develop.
When was the first time you ever heard the song Country Roads?
Oh man, it would have to be after a win.
And what is that? Does that give you goosebumps to this day?
Oh, it just, that's another thing, Coach Rod. He just brings back such a tradition, where, not saying that people didn't feel like they were proud of it, but, there's like an excellence to what he's trying to do. And I think there's it's a respect. And that's why, I don't know, you hear Country Roads play after a win, man. It's like all that hard work and effort, paid off.